Interest rates, elections, inventory, price drops. What in the world is going on with Utah real estate, and what can we expect from the housing market in the coming months? I'm going to give you the truth behind it all. What's going on, you guys? My name's Cody Steck. I'm a top producing real estate agent here in Utah. Between my team and I, we cover northern Utah, southern Utah, and everywhere in between. So if you're watching this video, there's probably a good chance that you're either in one of two boats. One, you're watching this video because you signed up for my newsletter, link down below. You saw the video come out and you clicked on it and here you are. Or number two, you're in the position where you're actually considering making a move here to Utah. And you might be asking yourself, hey, what should I do? Should I wait? Should I buy now? Should I sell? Should I invest? Should I rent? What should I do if I'm making a move here to the area? I'm gonna give you all the facts, all the information, and give you an overview on what I expect to see in the coming months. We're going to talk about what's happening with existing sales, with new home sales, and what types of options you've got out there for new construction. If you're looking at new construction, there's a lot of builder incentives and different programs going on right now that you will want to know about. There's a ton of information. Unfortunately, I can't share it all in these videos. So if you do have questions, please reach out to me. Call, text, or email me anytime if you're thinking about making a move here or you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate here in Utah. Please reach out. My information is here on the screen. Call, text, or email me anytime. So the data is in for the Wasatch Front Regional MLS. This covers pretty much everything on the northern part of Utah. It covers everything, all of the areas that people are going to be looking at here when making a move here to northern Utah. Now, the number of sales that happened month over month from August to September, we actually saw a 14% decrease in the number of home sales. Now, this is a bit interesting because during that time, interest rates actually decreased. Yes, in August, they were a little bit higher, but then in September, we actually saw some pretty big drops across the board for interest rates. We're going to talk about that more here in just a minute. So that's one thing to note. Why are home sales actually dropping, and what are we seeing in the market over the next couple of months? We're going to talk about that here in just a second. On the flip side, we actually saw that listing prices and the median sales price inched up just a hair. We're still seeing homes sell on average for about 3% less than they're listed for, but we are starting to see those prices creep up. In fact, over just the last 6 months, we're actually seeing the median list price has increased by 5% across the board. In fact, since the beginning of the year, we've actually seen home prices increase about 5% across the board. So home sales are dropping, inventory is rising, but yet home prices still continue to climb. The other interesting thing to note here is that days on market is actually also starting to increase. This goes along with the seasonality that we see here. Summer is over, fall is here, winter's right around the corner. We expect home sales to decrease. We expect days on market to increase, but I think there's some other changes that we need to talk about here that's going to be important. When it comes to housing inventory, a lot of people are always concerned about, hey, what homes are on the market? Where can I go and find the best possible deal in my price range? Now, if you're a buyer, that's how you're going to look at it. If you're a seller, you have to look at what the competition is, right? So this includes how many homes are for sale in your price range and how many are going to be direct competition to you based on the quality of your home versus another home. So as we see inventory numbers start to increase, we should actually see prices come down, in theory at least, because there's more competition in the market for people trying to sell. So far, year to date, across the market, we've had 42,000 new listings hit the market. This is up about 10% from where we were last year at this time, where we had about 38,000 active listings on the market that had come up throughout the year. Now, this is actually down from what we saw in 2022 and 2021, right? That was a crazy year. If you tried to do anything in the housing market, it was absolutely nuts. I'm so glad we're past that time, but we're actually still in a position, even going back to 2019, we still have 10,000 fewer active listings that have hit the market year to date to this time. So comparing 2019 to 2024, we're actually still down about 20% across the board. Now, this is a little bit concerning because you have to also consider how many homes were actually built during that time, right? If I had to take a guess, I would say probably 20, 30, 40,000 homes across northern Utah that were built over the last couple of years. With just a bigger supply of overall homes, you should actually see the active listings come up, right? Let's say that 1% of homes are for sale at any given time. That means that as the total increases, let's say there's 500,000 and it goes to 550, we should see an increase in the number of available listings. However, that's not happening. Inventory is still lower than where it has been. So if you actually take a look at some information here, you can see that the active listing count as of today is at 11,501 active listings. Comparing that to, let's say 30 days ago, we had 11,160. So we're up 3%. Over the last 60 days, we're up 5%. Let's go back a year. We're up over 20% year over year for active listings that are on the market, right? So these are active listings, not sold, not under contract, not pending. If we take a look at sold listings, we had 3,256 home sales over the last 30 days. If we go back to last 365, that actually shows us that we've got 36,000, not quite the information we're looking for, but again, 3,256 home sales. Under contract properties, we had, let's see, today we're sitting at 4,989 compared to 365 days ago where we had 3,904. So we're seeing a lot of conflicting information out there in the market, and I think there's a lot of uncertainty. I've had a number of people who I'm in talks with who say, hey, I'm just gonna wait until the election happens, or I'm gonna wait until interest rates come down, or I'm gonna wait for this or for that. And sometimes it's a personal reason, other times it's a market reason, and I completely understand that. You're trying to make the best decision for you and your family, so I'm always a supporter of that. Hey, maybe it makes sense for you to buy right now. Maybe it makes sense for you to buy in 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. I don't know. In my opinion though, it's always best to be in the market and purchase a home when it makes sense for you. So if you're kind of thinking about it right now, maybe just jump in, right? Yes, there are going to be some downsides. Maybe interest rates go down, maybe there's some uncertainty or whatever, but you can always adjust and make moves later on as well. So that's kind of just my own take. I do know there's going to be a lot of people who are considering waiting for interest rates to come down. So let's take a look at that. All right, so taking a look at what's happened with interest rates over last year. This time last year, we were sitting about 8% across the board, according to Mortgage News Daily. This is basically a website that compiles mortgage information from across the country. Here in Utah, we're fortunate that we're actually seeing rates that are about probably about 3/8 to maybe 0.5% lower than what you're seeing on here. So we saw about 8%. That would actually mean we were closer to about 7.6, 7.7% here in this market, maybe 7.5, depends on what type of loan you get and your credit score and all those things. But we're generally a little bit lower. So we were at 8%. We fell all the way to about 6.5% here in December, climbed back up to 7.5%, and then have fallen down to the low 6s. There is a little bit of a spike here. I'm not sure what's going on with this little spike here right at the end. It looks like maybe mortgage rates jumped up substantially today, maybe due to some data from the Fed, or possibly this is a little bit incorrect. I think everybody's still kind of predicting that rates are going to come down. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with this over the next couple weeks. But here we are at low 6% range, which means that for a lot of conventional loans here in Utah, like I said, we're seeing somewhere in the high 5% range. Now, yes, that is still expensive. That's not 4%. It's not 3%. It's not even 2% that we saw a couple of years ago that some people were able to lock in, but 5% is where things are at today. Now, could they fall a little bit further? Yes, I think everybody's actually expecting for that to happen. So we could see interest rates come down another 0.25%, maybe 0.5%, but it might take 3, 6, 12 months for that to actually happen. So that's something you have to consider in your own situation. Maybe it makes sense to purchase now, just get in the market. You can refinance later when rates hopefully do come down for the home buyers that are out there, or maybe you just lock in, because I don't know that there's actually any certainty that rates will come down. I think a lot of people are expecting them to, but I'm actually not so sure they're going to come down very much, or at least not as much as a lot of people are saying that they will. Now, this is just my personal opinion, but I think a lot of people are expecting them to get back to drop almost 1% or 1.5%. And right now, I just don't see that happening. I'm actually in a position where I'm concerned that if the Fed were to drop interest rates, that would drop mortgage rates in exchange, and then we'd actually see a boom in the housing market again, right? If interest rates come down, people can now afford more. That's going to cause more people to jump into the market, because now they can purchase something that's, quote unquote, a little bit more affordable, and that's going to actually push prices up as there's increased competition and demand in the market. So lots of different things, right? Some things are pushing the market down, others are boosting it up. Now, one thing that I get asked about a lot is, hey, is a market crash coming? Are prices going to drop? What's going to happen? And in my opinion, I don't think that's going to happen, at least not here in Utah. Right now, the biggest thing that contributes to a massive real estate crash would be if people are unable to make their mortgage payments, and all of a sudden you've got tons of people, hundreds, maybe thousands of people who need to list their property for sale. They are then in a position where they need to sell their property, they list it, we flood the market with inventory, and that creates a ton of competition for people who have to sell to get out of the financial burden that they're in. So the one thing that drives this is going to be unemployment. Now, unemployment here in Utah is actually very, very low. We're in the top 10 states for the lowest percentage of unemployed people. If that number continues to remain low, I don't expect to see any large changes in the real estate market. We might see prices go up a little bit, down a little bit, but we're not going to see a major massive crash or a major price increase from where we're at today. We did see that over the last couple of years, but that's not going to happen right now. So to be honest, I don't think prices are really going to fluctuate that much. It might go up, $5,000, $10,000, might drop $10,000, but it's not going to be a substantial $50,000 or $100,000 in just a couple of months. Regardless of who wins the election, life is going to go on. There's going to be certainty, and we're going to continue moving forward. So with that being said, guys, thanks so much for watching. If you're looking at making a move here to Utah, please reach out to me, call, text, or email me anytime. I love hearing from you guys. I've had over 1,000 people over the last couple of years reach out, and I cannot wait to hear from you as well who's watching this video right now. So with that said, guys, thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one.